distinguished guests, respected industry leaders, partners from the financial sector, technology experts, and friends from the global development community. I am delighted to welcome you to this critical conversation on Powering Telangana 2047. Telangana's Rising Vision 2047 is anchored in a very clear national duty and a very deep moral belief. Growth must be shared, sustainable and future proof. Our ambition is to become a $3 trillion economy, contributing nearly 10% of India's GDP by 2047. We intend not only to grow, but to grow with responsibility, inclusively, and in harmony with the planet that our children will inherit. Energy is the beating heart of this vision. It determines industrialization, job creation, agriculture prosperity, mobility, and quality of life. That is why Telangana has placed energy transition and climate action at the very core of its development strategy. We have already taken bold steps toward a cleaner tomorrow, a decisive shift toward 100% clean mobility source. Hyderabad's ambition to host India's largest e-bus fleet by 2030 source, a roadmap to add around 20 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity on top of the existing nearly 11.4 gigawatts source. Friends, alongside this, urban greening, forest expansion, and low carbon industrial growth are no longer ideas. They are active work streams shaping Telangana's future. But let us be honest, our task is large. The power sector shows how much we have achieved and how much lies ahead. Telangana has today ensured round-the-clock supply, more than doubled contracted capacity, and emerged among the leading states in per capita power consumption. Looking forward, power demand could exceed 1.39 lakh megawatts and about 780 terawatt hours by 2047 if we meet our growth and industrialization targets. That scale of demand cannot and will not be met by business as usual. We will need more renewables, more storage, flexible thermal capacity, a stronger transmission backbone, a digital grids, resilient urban distribution system, and a financial ecosystem that can enable all of this. Traditional budgetary support alone cannot carry the ambition. Telangana will actively explore green and sustainability linked bonds, blended finance and multilateral and DFI backed facilities to complement public investment. However, this is a point of concern. A clean transition must also be just a transition. Telangana is a coal producing state, responsible for around 7% of India's coal output. Districts along the Godavari River sustain coal-based power plants, fly ash units, and coal-dependent MSMEs. For these reasons, the energy transition is not an academic idea. It is a lived reality. Therefore, our promise is simple. No worker, no family, and no district will be left behind. Recent district level studies highlight promising diversification pathways. Tourism and ecotourism, food processing and agro-based industries, textiles and solar manufacturing and assembly. These are not emergency substitutions. They are future-ready sectors aligned with local strengths. Our transition will protect livelihoods, build new skills, support MSMEs, and convert coal districts into thriving and resilient green economic hubs. That is the spirit in which today's session is conceived. We are here not merely to describe what the energy transition is, but to shape how to finance it, how to sequence it, and how to make it socially just. In this room, we have the leadership of power utilities, financiers, developers, technology providers, regulators, researchers, and transition practitioners. One actor will not build the future. It will be built by all of us together. I would urge today's discussion to focus on 5 questions. What does a 2047 ready energy system for Telangana look like? Reliable, affordable, decarbonized, and resilient. How do we prioritize the core pillars? Renewables and storage, flexible thermal, grid strengthening, digital distribution, electric mobility, and efficiency. What innovative climate finance instruments can accelerate the transition? How do we embed just transition into sectoral and financial decision making, especially for coal-dependent districts? How do we translate today's ideas into next steps for policy and planning? If we get this right, the prize is enormous. An energy system that safeguards our climate, a power sector that powers industry and agriculture without fatigue, and above all, a transition that lifts people rather than displace them. Telangana's energy story will not be a story of hesitation. It will be a story of courage, planning, investment, collaboration, and compassion. Let us work together, build an emergency architecture worth of a $3 trillion Telangana in 2047. Worthy of the youth who dream here, worthy of the planet that sustains us. Friends, the idea of and the dream of Telangana, Telangana rising 2047 with $3 trillion economy is our goal. To reach that $3 trillion economy, we know that what kind of energy and how much we require. Keeping all those things in our mind with a calculation, a proper calculation, the growth rate we have planned in such a way that we will make and will make sure that the production and the supply of power with the green energy to reach to the economy of $3 trillion by 2047. This is our dream, and we have already planned, and we will achieve that also. The only thing that I just wanted to request all of you, please share your ideas, throw your suggestions, and take the partnership in building the state to the dream of making the state of 2047 with $3 trillion economy. That is what we wanted to request all the friends who all have come all over the world. Though it is a very short period, you all made it the dream of Telangana 2047 $3 trillion economy, the beginning by you all joining in this summit. Thank you very much. Jai Telangana.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for setting the tone and giving the vision to all of us to work hard to strengthen the Telangana power sector. In fact, now to attract that much of investment, the power sector should be very strong, the base should be very strong with greening, with the new advanced technology adoption, and with finances equally. Sir is having the energy and the finance, and I think under his leadership, Telangana is going to strengthen day by day. So thank you very much, sir. Now I request Naveen Mittal, sir, IAS, Principal Secretary, Energy Department, to moderate the session. Over to you, sir. Sir, just please, I request all of you to please sit and please take your seats for this session. Wonderful session is going to begin. Thank you. I request all the people who are there on the left side of the dais to please sit. Please take your chairs. Please take your chairs. Backside of the hall, I request all of you to please take your chairs. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rajkiran. Honorable Deputy CM, all the fellow panelists on the dais and all the distinguished participants who are present here. This is a very interesting session because we are not just talking about powering Telangana 2047 in line with the $3 trillion vision, but also to ensure that this transformation is sustainable and just. And as Honorable Deputy CM has said, that we take into account the future of our next generation also in terms of environment as well as climate while we are doing this transition. We have a very rich panel here in terms of experience as well as the kind of work which each one of them has done. And I'm sure that we will have answers to a lot of our questions which we are going to have in answering the topic which we are discussing now. I'll start with Mr. Ajit Pandit. Mr. Pandit is the co-founder and director of Idam Infrastructure Advisory Private Limited, and he has a very rich experience in terms of not just power but also energy transition. So my question to you is, Honorable Deputy CM has spoken about 1.39 gigawatt of 139 gigawatt of power by 2047. Right now our peak demand is only about 17.6, but we are looking at about an 8-fold increase in power requirement. Though in economic terms we are growing about 15 times, but in energy transition terms we are saying we are targeting about 8 times because of lower energy GDP intensity. What do you think this energy mix is going to be in terms of renewables, in terms of generation mix to achieve this goal?
Am I audible? Yeah. First of all, sir, thank you for your question. And at the outset, let me thank Deputy CM sir and Government of Telangana for giving me this opportunity for this interaction. To your question, sir, first and foremost, I think I had come across, I've been working in this space for more than close to 3 decades. We have been discussing out many studies of energy mix that will come about. But Telangana is the only state who is talking about 2047 at the state level, what would be the energy mix. We have seen the studies for resource adequacy, IRP, talking about 2030 or 2035. But 2047, that leap of faith of 22 years and kind of a rollout that we talked about in the morning, it's stupendous. And in my mind, sir, there are, for the mix of this, there are 4 Ds is something that we need to be carefully looking at. For this development agenda, there are 4 pillars. First D is about decarbonization for the mix that we are talking about. So what kind of a energy grid would be decarbonized by 2047 that we are talking about? At least for a wind, solar, ESS, and all that you had actually charted out in your policy document. It's a 10-year policy document. Probably you need to have a 22-year policy document with the separate segmentation going forward. So that decarbonization would throw up another challenges in terms of flexibility requirement. And we need to work extensively on the flexibility because it's going to throw up kind of a uncertainty, variability as well as the ramp requirement. So we need to work closely on that. Transmission is another element that we need to work on in terms of working closely with the interstate grid as well as development of a transmission evacuation infrastructure within the state. So that's the first D on the decarbonization that we need to look at. The second D that I'm talking about is about in terms of the complete democratization of the renewable energy. We are going to actually have a plethora of distributed renewable and DRE going to come into the grid to make it facilitated to get integrated into the grid. You are already targeting in your 2035 scenario about 8 gigawatts of DRE, but 2047 we'll see a huge amount of DRE from rooftop, the PM Kusum or PM Surya Ghar and various other schemes that state themselves want to take up. So DRE is something that we need to carefully look at. Deputy CM sir did talk about digitalization. That's a third D. That we need to extensively work on digitalization. We have been studying the UK market extensively, and in the UK, the way they looked at today there is no, practically coal is completely phased out, and they had looked at the DRE in a big way. There is more than 300 generators and 1 million assets of distributed renewable which are already operating in the UK market. We need to study and learn from those lessons, and which will help Telangana in a big way. And then the fourth D, and that's the last point that I have, is about demand flexibility and a demand side management. That's something that we need to really look at and start harnessing flexibility. That will help us to meet the kind of a variable renewable that we are trying to integrate into the grid. That's a quick short answer. Maybe I can come back here.
Thank you, Mr. Pandit. I think that's a very interesting perspective on having those 4 Ds talk about the various aspects of this huge transition what we are planning. My next question would be to Mr. Sarit Maheshwari. Mr. Maheshwari is the CEO of NTPC Green.
Sir.
So you basically are heading a vertical which is basically about renewables. Now, Mr. Pandit talked about the share of renewables in that. What do you think is going to be the overall share of renewables in this goal which we are having, and what are the factors we need to keep in mind to achieve those renewable share into this whole journey which we are having?
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me the opportunity at this esteemed panel to talk about the renewables. At the outset, sir, let me tell you that currently the pace at which we are setting up the renewables in the country is unprecedented. So the only immediate challenge that we are facing is with respect to the grid, the resilience of the grid to take hold of the renewables. And perhaps that answers your question that what would be the percentage of renewables that can be there in the grid. Today, if the grid is able to handle the entire renewables, nothing like it. However, because of the demand pattern is such that it would definitely require an element of storage. And therefore, sir, in order that we have a significant amount of RE into the grid, and moving away from coal to a larger extent, would entirely depend on the pace at which we can set up the batteries. And it is a very opportune time for the country, I would say, that the battery prices in the last few years have now plummeted almost 90% to what they were before, which gives us a very, very good impetus to have batteries as a storage. And Telangana NGEL or NTPC Green is the largest supplier of green energy to Telangana, sir. And we would be very, very keen to set up more projects now in Telangana. So far we have been supplying from the projects from outside. Recently we are in an advanced discussion with SCCL to have a JV with Telangana, where we'll be setting up our own power plants. We intend to put up batteries on a large scale over here, which would act as a storage. Telangana is also very, very rich in PSP projects. We would also love to collaborate and go in for PSP, sir. So to sum up, sir, the exact mix would require some element of thinking and some element of planning, but I am very much sure that we can easily go to 2047 is a very, very wonderful and a very ambitious target to go more than 70% renewables would be my guess, sir.
Right, thank you. Next question would be to Ms. Harish Yarlagadda. So Mrs. Yarlagadda is the founder and CEO of Mahalakshmi Group. In fact, he is also been the founder chairman of Greenco also. And Harishji, you talk about this energy trilemma. I've heard you speaking. So can you explain this whole concept of energy trilemma?
Thank you very much, Naveen Mittal sir. My respects to our Deputy Chief Minister Bhatti Garu, and also our Honorable Ministers Uttam Kumar Reddy Garu and Vivek Garu, who are here attending this session. Thank you, sir, for asking me that question, because that is my favorite subject. Before I get into that, sir, if you permit me, I would request all the delegates to, when you get into the car, before you get into the car, take some selfies of the place here. By 2047, this will be better than Hyderabad. And you can show it to your grandchildren what this place was now, when it is going to be different, completely different in 2047. Don't miss this opportunity. So when you go and get into the car, please take a selfie of this area. It's barren now. So sir, human beings are responsible for the next mass extinction. It's called Anthropocene epoch. Anthropocene is human-induced epoch. So till 1950, we were only considered about energy dilemma. So we wanted to have cheap power and reliable power. But today, we have seen what is happening. We are nearly reaching about more than 420 ppm of carbon in the atmosphere, which is not good, and we are heading towards the mass extinction. So it has become energy trilemma. So we need cheap power, reliable power, and sustainable power. So like NTPC was mentioning, we can have this solar power, for example. If you take it is cheap, it is sustainable, but it is not reliable because the PLF is only around 20-22%. So you need to have battery storage. And if you want to have battery storage, you can't depend upon, lithium ion all the time, because it's controlled by some other country. So maybe we have to do research on flow batteries, on sodium ion batteries, on so on and so forth. Like that, there are huge opportunities, billions of dollars of opportunities in this energy trilemma. So we have to look into that, and that is going to really help us in building the economy to a 3 trillion economy in Telangana. And also, if you see, there is a staggering 1 lakh megawatts of power required to achieve this 3 lakh, and if it is, and most of it is going to be non-conventional, so the PLF will be lower. So you need at least 2 to 3 lakh megawatts of installed capacity by 2047, and that is where that staggering figures itself will show how much opportunity is there in achieving the energy trilemma. Similarly, there are 3 or 4 business opportunities for us. One is the India energy stack, like the UPI. The government of India is thinking of India energy stack, where the Florence School of Regulation is helping, and the lady who is in charge of that is from Hyderabad, sir. Sweta Ravi. So we should take that. And tomorrow, what will happen is, once this India energy stack comes in, like UPI, every person will have a code. So every household also will have a number. And in Telangana, I am assuring you, with all the policies coming out by the government of Telangana, there will not be only consumer, there will be a consumer and a producer. The new English word that Telangana will coin soon will be the prosumer, producer and consumer. So there will be a lot of prosumers with the UTI number. And also, Telangana, sir, we have to get into Bio 2X. So we have to install a lot of biorefineries where, for example, from the agriculture products like lignin, you can produce benzene. So the long chain carbons are going to dictate in future. Telangana should be the leader in the Bio 2X, in the biorefineries. And of course, SMR, small modular reactors, and so on and so forth. The last point that I wanted to tell is that there are some YPOs and CIIs here. There is 30,000 crores of CSR money, and that should go for the just transition. Because there is a lot of just transition. We discussed this, sir, once before. 30,000 crores లో నుంచి మనం చూస్తే మన రాష్ట్రంలో దరిదాపు ఒక 5-6 వేల కోట్లు సంవత్సరానికి సిఎస్ఆర్ మనీ వెళ్తుంది. దాన్ని మనం యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవాలి. Probably most of the money should not go for just, some of the things which are not sustainable. So, ఈ just transition కు వాడితే మనం చాలా బాగుంటుంది అది. So, kindly I would request the government of Telangana to look into it. Finally, sir, we prepared a document which, if you permit me, I would like to present it to you and to the secretary just now. Thank you, sir.
So that was a very interesting perspective. I think you coined two new words. One is the energy trilemma and the other is the prosumer. I now move on to Ms. Netra Wakwakekar, and she's the co-founder and vice president of Net Zero Energy Transition Association, which is Netra. So Ms. Netra, I think the organization is basically the acronym for your name. And you've done a lot of work in net zero transition. So Telangana has set up a very, very ambitious goal of being net zero by 2047. India as a country, under our Paris climate goals, under our NDCs for achieving Paris climate goals, we are saying India will achieve that in 2070. But Telangana is saying we'll achieve by 2047. So we are literally halving the number of years in which we are planning to achieve that. How difficult do you think it is going to be, and what do we have to keep in mind to achieve this?
Sure. Is it working? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Namaskaram, and first of all, congratulations to State of Telangana for this initiative and so much aspirant goal. So Net Zero Energy Transition Association is again the platform where we bring lot of stakeholders on this platform for collaborate. When we talk about Net Zero Energy Transition goal, so it is about a holistic approach that one should take as a state, as a nation. We talk about addition of solar, wind, and already earlier speakers have talked about the flexibility. So when we look at the entire picture, it has to be a system approach. In so far in India, so much solar and wind has already got added. Similarly, in state of Telangana, similar things will happen. But when you add more and more renewables, you have to be very careful about the grid's health and how exactly this grid is going to behave. So how the energy storage technologies, and we have to be a technology neutral again. So it is not like about just a lithium ion or sodium ion or pumped hydro. So we have to match the what kind of application is suitable for what kind of technology, and again the timeline, that what timeline the new technology is coming. So it is about the accelerating the transition, and it will not happen if everyone works on the silos. We have to work collaboratively, learn from each other. It is not like Telangana is looking at its own picture, but Telangana can learn from other states. I'll also talk from the industry perspective. It is not like whenever somebody is going ahead with the project, it is not like always lowest price is the best price, because that is something we have to understand, that we have to keep the certain standards and safety standards, implementation standards in place, so that the right projects will come into picture which are sustainable long term. The other thing is about investment. So investors are looking at India, investors are looking at Telangana as a state. So we have to have a right frameworks at place. Investors should feel the confidence and the transparency in what is going to happen, so that they feel more and more confident in investing. So many things, so many dots needs to be checked. So it is not an easy path, and I would say that aspiration is one thing. We can talk about net zero by 2047, but we have to also look at the near term goals and make sure that we reach that by 2030, where we are reaching by 2035. So 2047 is nice, but it is good to prepare for the 2030, 35 step by step. Those are my submissions.
I think that's a very important point you've made. Not just have the long-term goal of 47, but also make it more granular in terms of, let's say, every 5-year goal, where we should be, and then that becomes a metric for us to benchmark ourselves as to whether we are achieving the right progress or not. So thank you for your perspective. I now move on to Mr. Himanshu Chawla, who's the head of Power Foundation of India. Mr. Chawla, Ms. Netra talked about this whole financing requirement to have this energy goals and net zero goal which we are having. What do you think are the available financing opportunities for us to be able to make use of?
First of all, congratulations to the government of Telangana for organizing this event, and thanks to Honorable Deputy CM sir. Before coming on to the financing aspects, one of the major, we can say as the backbone of the entire power sector is the regulatory framework. So having spent around 2 decades in a regulatory commission, in a state electricity regulatory commission, the tariff, the principles, they decide what revenue streams will flow into the whole system. As far as the DISCOMs are concerned, so we have been seeing the AT&C losses have improved, but the financial losses of the DISCOMs have been increasing. So in order to make this whole system viable, in the sense what has been told as energy trilemma, which is the affordable, sustainable and reliable power, the regulatory systems need to be streamlined. So as far as the financing options are concerned for the energy transition, both public finance and private finances are equally important in meeting such energy transition. Because not only it's energy transition, but over a couple of years, maybe in a decade or so, the 3 types of loads will pick up quite in an enormous way, which we take it as AC, DC and EV, which is the cooling load, data centers and the electric vehicles. So in order to meet that load, we need huge infrastructure, and for creating that infrastructure, we need finances. So in this global summit, I think the main agenda of this one is to have flow of foreign investors into the state of Telangana also. So in this whole ambit of regulatory environment, state government, independent developers, all these players can play a major role in achieving the vision which has been formulated here. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Himanshu. We also have the MD of Solar Bull Energy Limited, Mr. K. Srinivas, with us. Mr. Srinivas, most of the panelists have talked about this huge share of renewables in the energy mix which we are going to have in the future. We have also talked about the distributed RE. In fact, Telangana itself has set up a very ambitious goal of having solar rooftop on every Gru Jyoti beneficiary in the state. That is the beneficiary who's getting 200 units of power free right now due to the government program. So the idea is to convert every such house into a rooftop solar generation system, and as Harish ji said, he becomes not a consumer but a prosumer. He produces and also consumes that energy. And also parallelly, we also set a target of converting all our agricultural pump sets also into solar pump sets, because that really aligns with the requirement in the farm sector. How difficult do you think is achievement of both these goals in our journey towards this?
Thank you, sir. Thanks for this question. And in fact, distributed energy (DRE) forms an integral part and important part of the solar journey. In fact, Telangana had been the forerunner in distributed energy, while the country had gone for solar parks expansion in a large scale, whereas Telangana had adopted a unique method of distributed energy. The 3,000 megawatt what we have today is distributed energy with little burden on the distribution network, which means lesser losses. So I really believe that what the Telangana government intends to do in terms of promoting distributed energy, rooftop solar, particularly in the lower income strata groups, and incentivizing those, will certainly go a long way in strengthening the grid infrastructure. In fact, that will reduce the burden on the storage, which is essential for grid stability. The second part is also the PM Kusum scheme, which is one of the scheme to promote the solar pumps, agricultural pumps promotion. Currently we have a part of the capacity under implementation, and I think that is coming into shape right now, and a lot of farmers are looking forward to more support from the government. I think going forward by 2047, I see a mix of about 5 gigawatt of rooftop solar and 5 gigawatt of PM Kusum should be part of the overall 70 gigawatt mix. And I think with the state government's promotion, in addition to the central government promotion, would help a lot of push to this subject, sir.
So,
Microgrids.
Interesting perspective, Mr. Srinivas. After talking in detail about renewables, I think we go to our traditional sector, which is the coal sector. So we have Mr. PM Prasad, who was the chairman of Coal India. Mr. Prasad, you worked in the coal sector your entire life, and we are now talking about net zero, and also a huge mix of renewables in our entire energy. Where do you think we are moving? In the direction of the thermal plants, new plants coming up, or how do you think the coal sector is going to be in next decade or two?
Respected Honorable Deputy CM Saab, respected Navin Mittal Saab, and thank you for providing me an opportunity to come and participate in Telangana Rising Global Summit. We have to understand, first of all, in Paris Agreement 2015, just transition word has coined worldwide. But European countries and maybe USA, other developed countries have started almost 20 years back. If, for example, German, there is a Ruhr coalfield is there, coalfield Ruhr. German at that time, 15 years back, the workers' population is around 2 lakhs. Now the workman population is 30,000. In 20 years, they could cut down. So this is a very tight target Telangana has taken and a wonderful objective by 2047, phasing down. Definitely, coal perspective, renewables are coming. One of the goal by having 40% connective renewable capacity we already achieved, as the Honorable PM says, and now 50% target of non-fossil fuel are renewable. But coal, because of this base load requirement, it is going to stay in the next 2 to 3 decades. It may, the percentage from 50% may go down by 2047, maybe 30%. Now the coal sector's responsibility, or coal ministry, or even Singareni's CMD, he is here, or former CMD Secretary Sidhar Saab is here. Our job is to cut down the emissions from coal, like by going to this first mile connectivities. We have almost stopped 60% blasting in coal by blast-free technology. Similarly, for overburden also blast-free. By first mile connected coal handling plants, we have to reduce the dumpers lead, and if you can reduce, recently in Pakri Barwadi, NTPC, Mr. Maheshwari is there, 150 vehicles are plying. With digital, by engaging Ola Uber in the mine, where 150 vehicles can be brought down to 40. Ola Uber in the only mine network. Everyone doesn't need, only manager, GM need a full-time vehicle. We can cut down 100 vehicles there. So each mining practice, unit of operations, maybe drilling, blasting, with digitization, we can cut down number of holes drilled, blasting amount we can save, haul roads, diesel emissions. We have seen from NIRI studies, once we have developed this coal handling plant and first mile connectivity, even Singareni also these track lanes have taken, railway lines have brought to nearer to the mines. So huge saving in diesel, dust emissions. So certain good unit operations we have to take. We have to become 10% GDP in the entire by 2047. So coal you cannot wish away. In next 10 years, Singareni cannot be stopped. Already Singareni is doing diversification like solar, pump storage, even green hydrogen, and Singareni going to other minerals. Recent auctions taken one mine in Karnataka. Similarly, as a country as a whole, the policy we have to reduce the emissions and we have to participate responsibly and sustainably. With that, coal will be there for a few more decades. Maybe not by 2047, it may up to 60. But diversification is also going, and since we are having abundant reserves, we cannot copy European model or developed countries model. We don't have petroleum and natural gas also. In Argentina and Chile, they are not touching even coal because they are having shale gas. So we cannot compare with them. So coal we have to do responsible mining, and we have to plan this diversification. And net zero, for getting this, we need $3 trillion even to convert this just transition. Just transition need huge funds. Here to Navin Mittal sir's attention, district mineral fund is there, every district. We cannot use it for other purposes. We can increase that quota. Similarly, we can increase escrow funds. This 9 lakhs per hectare can be 25-30 lakhs. Then this Mancherial and other 2 districts, the goal set. We can have reskilling and other things, tourism and other things we can develop before wishing away coal. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so I think your message is coal plants will be there, but the share will come down, but there will be a lot of efficiency required in managing the whole thermal and coal sector. Mr. PM Prasad is the, Mr. Janak Prasad is the chairman of Minimum Wages Advisory Board. So, Mr. Prasad, you come from the coal belt area.
Yes, sir.
and you've done a lot of work for labor welfare. What labor and social welfare protection we need to have in the coal mining areas, basically to ensure that this transition is just.
Respected Deputy Chief Minister, Energy Minister and Coal Minister, Bhatti Vikramarka garu, Naveen Mittal garu, all the dignitaries participated in the debate. First of all, Singareni Collieries is the first government company in India. Recent past, up to 19th and 20th centuries, we are depending upon steam and coal. After that, we have transmitted to electricity and other activities. What is happening as far as transition is concerned? There are number of families dependent upon one sector. If we transit, there will be a lot of problems from the people who are dependent on them. For that, because the finance and energy is with our Deputy Chief Minister, we have to think of it. If we transit from one sector to other sector, whatever the people are going for that, we have to show the responsible job. Otherwise, it will be a rebellion. You might be seeing in what is happening in other countries like Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, like that. Because our Deputy Chief Minister has vast knowledge and foresight, he might be knowing if transition is going on up to 47 for sustainable of Telangana state. Meantime, we have to give some training to the displaced people. We have to modernize them. Another thing, whatever they destroyed, the developed countries done, they have enough done. Now they are preaching lessons to the developing countries. Now they are there. Another thing, most of the coal is being produced and power is produced by government. Recently, when private players entered into power, one very important FGD is to be introduced in power plants. And it is a mandatory. But unfortunately, when they have entered, the clause was removed. So that what will be the ecological balance? What will be the climate change? It will affect on the agriculture also. Indiscriminately, we are advancement is there. Industries are going. Day by day, agriculture is coming down. For that only, we have to, all the industrial development depends upon agriculture also. Sugar industry, jute industry, cotton industry. We have to depend upon agriculture. We have to simultaneously develop agriculture also, so many people will be employed. Another thing, as far as Singareni College is concerned, our Deputy CM has taken the charge of coal and energy. Lot of welfare measures are organized. Another thing, whatever the DMFT and CSR funds we are giving, somebody told, that has to be spent for skill development, encouraging the students, and we have to taking pressure from budget or investment from outside. They are in rural area. As far as I know, number of persons are prepared to invest for industries. We have to conduct plans. Otherwise, it is very difficult. In the rural area, if we conduct that type of sessions, it will be helpful for that. Because not only a lot of money is there in areas, they don't know how to invest, what will the position, how to prepare project report, they do not know. Another thing, sir. As far as Singareni College is also, some advancement is to be taken place, sir. Day by day, mines are residing. After receiving of the mines, there will be a lot of problem. For that also alternative. Recently, what our Deputy CM the diversification from coal to other sectors, critical minerals, and solar energy. By that, there will be a possibility of emission remission. That will be very important. Another thing, day by day in global heat, 1.5 Celsius degrees of heat is generating. So that a day will come, totally the ecological balance difference depend upon climate. Then there is shortage of food grains. Then there will be a lot of problem. Up to 47, I know that our people are that far-sighted. Certainly they will take care of it and they will sustain. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Uma Bhattacharya, so she's the trustee of Swaniti initiative, which basically works for bringing public services to the marginalized and socially inaccessible areas. So, Ms. Bhattacharya, what do you think is is the need for a governance or a coordination mechanism to ensure that just transition is built into the energy and economic policy of the state?
Firstly, thank you so much for having Swaniti here. Thank you so much, Deputy Chief Minister, sir. So, what we feel after having studied for 2 years in Mancherial and Pedapalli, these two coal mining districts, we have studied very intensely with the workers and the household, the MSMEs, and what we realized that you need to have a task force, because coordination between every department is very necessary at this point of time to ensure that what you are planning, and we have made a 10-year plan also, that what you are planning in this just transition among the people, this should be fruitful only if all the departments are coordinated properly and it goes down to the people. It is conveyed to the community that this is what is coming up, because the community is very willing to take it. But then it is our responsibility, it is like-minded other organizations' responsibility to support the government in ensuring that it reaches the people and to tell the people that the government is doing this for you. So this is very important at this point of time, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We also have Swarna Madam with us. She's the Principal Chief Conservator of Forest of Telangana. So ma'am, can you explain the role which Forest Department is going to play in this net zero transition which we are aiming till 2047?
Thank you, Naveen and Honorable Deputy CM Saab and everyone present here. We have been talking about development, what will be there in 2030, in 2039 and 2047. Lot of development is being envisaged, but then how this development is going to happen, at what cost, and then to what kind of ameliorative measures we need to take up to sustain this kind of fast development. This is what we need to look into. Most of the coal blocks in the country, even in Telangana, locate underneath the forest area, which is because since ages the coal has been there, forests led to that, and we need lot of forest land diversion for laying forest roads, telecommunication lines, irrigation projects, electricity lines, power projects. We need land outside as well as inside the forest areas. So when a land, part of the land is diverted toward this kind of projects, then how we are going to compensate that? This is what we kept in mind while writing our vision. I mean, from the Forest Department side, we wanted that to be incorporated in the vision document. That's what you can see now. Within the forest areas, what should be done, what measures we are already taking up, and how we are going to sustain that. We have few schemes like CAMPA. We also have constituted a fund like a Green Fund, Telangana Green Fund, we are going to get funds from JICA or different kinds of sources we are going to get the funds. And then where to do what activities. That's the point here. Degraded forest lands are there, could be due to ecological succession or biological pressure, human intervention or human interference. All this we have to take in count. And then we have a network, 7,200 square kilometers of protected area network, which includes 3 national parks, sanctuaries and 2 tiger reserves. Have to protect them. Lot of human interface is happening now. Man-animal conflicts are arising. Have to handle that. So everything is thought about, and then have we to confine these afforestation measures to only the reserve forest areas which are under the control of the forest department? No, we have to go beyond. Forestry is beyond forest department's conventional measure. We have to involve everyone, every stakeholder, all other line departments, government departments, all other public, then other stakeholders who are involved in this. We need to, go for PPP. Already we started. We have to go for CSR. And Mr. Harish, we have been on a national level discussion forum, like have to bring in more CSR to forestry sector, biodiversity sector, because mostly it goes toward health, education and other sectors. How we can bring that to this sector? And we have urban forest parks now. Like Hyderabad is expanding beyond its limits, and all the forest blocks, reserve forest blocks, now they are becoming part of this urban conglomerate. And we need to protect them, we need to use them for various uses, and we also have to create green lung spaces for such expanding city, which is going to be #1 in the country, and maybe it is one of the top 10 mega cities across the globe. And then rural areas. Have we to confine to only this? Municipalities have to be engaged, GHMC, HMDA, but apart from this, what? Then we have to involve every citizen. If they fell trees, they have to compensate. Could be outside forest areas only, but they need to, and we have to implement this mechanism strictly. And in rural areas, of course, gram panchayats, local administration, village administration, we need to involve. And apart from this, education, climate literacy, environmental education, we need to involve NGOs, and we have the plans for all this. Wildlife, forestry, urban forestry, all aspects are covered. Apart from this, ecotourism is another area which we have been focusing on, where you have good, beautiful forest areas, but they don't have access to general public because of the various reasons. That's where we need to identify, and it could be nature trails, it could be a safari ride, it could be in some other thing in some other fashion, but giving an interface so that public representatives can appreciate what the forest can offer. Because most of us see from roadside, or little bit inside. But there are beautiful locations in Telangana. We have wonderful wildlife, and it's our job to protect this, expand our domain. It should not be confined to forest department alone. We need to involve everybody, then only the sustainability will happen, and the sustainable development is the mantra which everybody is talking about in the developed countries especially. And so this development not at the cost of natural resources which we are already having, but this will be used to enhance whatever investments come in to that would come to the state. Part of it should go toward this sustainable development. This is what we are thinking about, and we have planned, and we try to incorporate as much as possible on a broader level. Thank you.
Thank you. So forest is a real integral part of this net zero transition journey. We also have Mr. Ahmed Nadeem, who is the Principal Secretary of Environment, Forest, Science and Technology. So Nadeem, what are what is the work which your department is going to do, both in the environmental side as well as the forest side, to have this net zero goal?
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Deputy CM Gariki, my the moderator and my senior colleague Naveen Garu, all the distinguished panelists here. So we heard the speakers speak about what development activities are going to take place to take Telangana into 2047. The Honorable Deputy CM also in his address mentioned about that the development is not going to be just mindless development, but it will be an inclusive, just human development. So we are very conscious of this effort, and we also know the role the forest plays as a natural carbon sink. Forest and the green cover, if we see as of now, the forest has about 19% cover of the total area of Telangana. Total area of Telangana being about 1,12,000, of which 19% presently is covered by forest. Similarly, outside the forest also, we have some green cover in the form of trees, etc., which is another 3%. So all put together, about 22% of the current area presently is the total green cover of Telangana. This we will raise to 33%. By 2047, we will raise this green cover. Green cover means forest cover plus outside forest green cover. So this will be raised from 22%, which is currently there, to 33% by 2047. And to achieve this, we will plant about 2.5 billion trees, which is 250 crores in the next 22 years. As a result of which, the green cover which will be there, it will act as a natural carbon sink. And as per the estimates by the experts, it will account for about 986 million tons of equivalent of carbon dioxide, which is emitted. So it will play a very significant role in acting as a natural carbon sink and to mitigate the impact of the climate change, which is caused by the various development activities such as data centers and etc., which we know it produces a lot of heat. Similarly, it will also provide green jobs to the local communities, thus not only as a natural carbon sink, but it also provides the green jobs. In addition to this, we will also create wealth from waste. That is, we'll bring this concept of circular economy into full fruition. It will be a civic practice-based system of waste removal. Telangana will innovate and it will create waste. It will turn the waste into wealth. It will lead to a sustainable industry and it's a regenerative economy. It will be a climate positive economy by 2047 with nearly complete segregation, about 98% recovery from the waste, will harvest and then reuse it. Zero untreated effluent will be released and methane neutral solid waste management system. So this will go a long way in not only making all the cities cleaner, but also Telangana a leader in achieving a sustainable industrial development aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals 2030 of the United Nations.
Thank you, Nadeem. That's a very interesting perspective on circular economy and using forests as a carbon sink. Finally, I would give a minute to Mr. Mohammed Saif, who's from Ernst & Young. Mohammed, you've heard all the panelists talk about various aspects of this net zero journey. What do you think are the key focus areas we have to focus on in the next 3 to 5 years to be on target of this goal?
Sir, thank you very much, first of all, to you and Deputy CM, sir, for having me on the stage. Sir, we have seen the perspective from both the demand as well as the supply side. What, if you ask me, top 2 agenda items from my side would be to have a very clear decarbonization roadmap for the state that would identify almost every sector so that going forward, what would each sector need to do to move towards that decarbonization journey? That is one. The second thing is when you move towards decarbonization or net zero, you require a decent amount of capital. Now, one option, a plain option is that the government puts everything in itself. But there are ways where we can also see and come out with an agenda of monetizing the existing assets that are there with various departments and using that money to fund the decarbonization activities and become more self-reliant. Sir. I think I'll close with this.
Uh, Thank you, Saif. Uh, I think we've had a very enriching discussion. I would say the key takeaways are that Telangana's net zero goal of 2047, though it is ambitious, but it is achievable. There are a series of things we need to do to achieve that. And we also need to have granular targets over every 5-year period to be on course of this journey. Our energy mix is going to be about 139 gigawatts, 780 terawatt hours, and a major portion of this, upward of about 70-80%, is going to be renewables. Now, major component of this also has to be the distributed renewables, because that's where the prosumers come in. And we need to have a focus not just on the affordability and reliability of energy systems, but also sustainability. Coal plants are here to stay for next 2 decades, but the share of thermal energy will come down. And for that, we need to have a focus on our coal generating districts, especially the people there, so that we also target alternative areas to focus on to ensure that the economic progress in these districts is also commensurate with the journey of the rest of the state. We also need to have in mind the sectors which depend on the sections which depend on the coal generation projects. No, Swanati is doing a lot of work in that. Forest is going to play a very, very important and integral role in this journey. Forest will act as carbon sinks, which is very important, because though the renewable sector may be net zero, but the share of the manufacturing sector as well as thermal sector, you need to have some kind of a carbon capture, utilization, carbon capture, storage and utilization. And there is nothing better than having forests as a carbon sink. So I think there are great takeaways from this panel discussion. We end here. I request our Honorable Deputy CM to hand over mementos to the panelists as a token of our gratitude for participating in this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now I request our Deputy CM, Bhatti Vikramarka, sir, to felicitate our panelists on stage. We'll start with Mr. Ajit Pandit Garu, co-founder, director of DAM Infrastructure. Mr. Ajit Pandit Garu. Sri Janak Prasad Garu, chairman, minimum wages advisor, Government of Telangana. Sri Janak Prasad Garu, Chairman, Minimum Wage Advisor, Government of Telangana. Mr. Sarit Maheshwari, CEO, NTPC Green. Sri Srinivas Kokadapu, MD, Solar Bull Energy. Sri Harish Yarlagada Garu, founder, CEO, Mahalakshmi Group, former founder, chairman, Greenco. Professor Raj Kiran Garu. A big round of applause for Mr. Raj Kiran for hosting this beautiful panel discussion. Netra Walwalkarji, co-founder, VP Net Zero Energy. Srimati Uma Bhattacharya, Trustee, Swaniti Initiative. Shri P.M. Prasad Garu, ex-Chairman Coal International Limited. Sri Himanshu Chawla, Mr. Mohammad Saif, Srimati Parminder Chopra, Shri Naveen Mittalji, Shri Ahmed Nadeem Garu, Srimati C. Subarna Garu. May I also request Haski and Swaniti team to please step up, join us on stage for a group picture. So ladies and gentlemen, that was our panel discussion on the theme, the just transition into 2047, powering Telangana's future. I'd like to thank all our distinguished panelists for their insightful and inspiring conversation on Rising Telangana 2047. Definitely all your perspectives have not only illuminated the challenges and the opportunities that we face, but have also strengthened our collective belief that Telangana is truly on the path of becoming a future-ready state. Thank you one and all for joining us. Thank you so much, sir.